We gather to combine our talents, our intelligence, our experience. We gather to combine our careful and critical discernment of spiritual teachings toward truly human ends. We conclude for ourselves what is sacred to us, and with that authority, we have the ability to declare as sacred this humble gathering, virtual though it may be. For that's what the word sacred means, to declare what is special, what is holy. May we see the deep humanity among us today, and may its wholeness become known to our hearts. We light this chalice in the spirit of unity, unity with one another and unity with the earth. We are reminded that there is no difference between one another, nor a difference between the earth and all that crawls upon it. May its light shine into the darkest places and show us the truth this day. What is the definition of holy? We know how it's used. We can use the word holy in a sentence, but how is it really defined? Where did the word come from? The term holy derives from ancient words originating around the concepts of completeness, wholeness, ideas about healthfulness, optimum existence, perfect wholeness, something to which we should aspire. It's no wonder that as the concept of God emerges in culture, people would seek to utilize grand adjectives of aspiration to describe it. Holy, complete, supremely intact, perfect. Something we UUs would consider to be holy or sacred, even from the humanist perspective, might be the interdependent web of all existence, the seventh principle of Unitarian Universalism. Would we consider the interdependent web of all existence to be something that exists in its own completeness and wholeness and should be kept and honored and cared for in healthfulness and optimum existence? I believe yes. If so, then we conclude the web itself to be holy and therefore sacred. The web itself is our own Mecca toward which we turn and orient ourselves for the betterment of our reality. It's what we pay attention to. It's about what we are most curious. And we are a curious species. In fact, we spend more money on our curiosity than practically anything else in the world. Our curiosity is what drives space exploration, healthcare advances, manufacturing improvements, environmental science, agriculture, and yes, military developments. It also makes us curious about things people conclude to be supernatural. We may be curious, but we also expect ideas to be able to hold up to scrutiny. The interdependent web of all existence is the sacred system we praise and give thanks to. It is the grateful recognition of the mathematical impossibility of our existence and allowing ourselves to sit in awe and wonder of the miracle of that. I'm grateful for this earth. I'm grateful for my home and for my friends and my family. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak. And I give thanks to all the circumstances of reality which made them so, including the ones about which I have no idea nor can prove. Whatever the ultimate reality is, whatever may or may not be operating outside of my view which made this moment possible, I am grateful for all of it. Those who insist upon everyone having a relationship with a deity are missing the point of what a deity is meant to provide us, namely our appreciation of its creation. Don't spend all your time looking up. Look around you. Here's the kicker. The goal of all organized religion is ultimately humanist. All Scripture points to the development of an appreciation for what we have right in front of us. Scripture names it God's creation and elevates the stakes of its stewardship for a reason. And it's the same reason that humanism would conclude. Celebrate life, honor the natural world, serve and love your neighbor, hug some trees. Both humanism and organized religion want the same thing. They are just different paths on the same mountain. And both of them have their zealots and extremists. Let's have a read of the definition of humanism. Humanism, noun, an outlook or system of thought attaching prime importance to human rather than divine or supernatural matters. Humanist beliefs stress the potential value and goodness of human beings, emphasize human needs, and seek solely rational ways of solving human problems. I Googled that, and I like it. And I think it agrees with the goals of Scripture as well. I don't say that to force Scripture into the conversation. I say it to demystify and take away the negative power that dogma has been allowed to use against the strength of our own agency, our own ability to decide. We have a right to see things in their proper light. It is our right as free thinkers to be our own authority. I think Wikipedia's entry on the subject is fair as well. Today, humanism typically refers to a non-theistic life stance centered on human agency and looking to science rather than revelation from a supernatural source to understand the world. Non-theistic life stance. It's funny how alarming that probably sounds to people who hold a particularly strong view that God must exist in all facets of our thinking and doing and being. I've known people in my travels who are deeply in the closet about referring to themselves as atheist or agnostic, depending on the level of religious belief in their community. In relatively liberal communities such as ours, we have a tendency to forget that religious dissent is not universally safe in this country. It certainly isn't safe in this world. May we hold in our hearts all those who are not safe to speak their truth. And what really is the non-theistic life stance? Technically, it means your philosophy of life is not defined by religious views on the ultimate reality or God. I have come to realize that humanism is not really about what is not believed, but instead affirms that true mystery exists in what can be seen and touched and physically experienced. Humanism does not exclude the sacred. It says, stop and smell the roses. The miracle is right in front of you. A non-theistic life stance doesn't conclude about the divine in developing morals and making decisions. Furthermore, humanism, with a capital H, by the way, does not reject religion per se. It insists upon the active and critical discernment of faith. It insists upon the questioning of dogma and the role it plays in our lives with or without our consent. It insists upon justice and equality as the metric against which even the reported words of God are measured. So what does humanism mean as a source of Unitarian Universalist belief? For it is the fifth of our 6 sources. Again, by source, we mean one of the 6 philosophical libraries, you might call them, from which we, as Unitarian Universalists, willingly derive our wisdom. The others are the teachings of world religion, the great prophets, science, the Judeo-Christian ethic, and the old earth traditions. Among this list, humanism adds its grounding influence to our spiritual speculations and debates. It reminds us that our real job is to care for the earth and one another. It would prefer to not confuse the issue with speculations on things of which we can only have an opinion and never any facts. I'm not here to teach you the humanist teachings, nor did I teach you the wisdom of the prophets when we spoke of that source. I'm here to help create a frame of reference for your own exploration of them. Holy curiosity is the ultimate foundation of humanism. A holy curiosity is a deep and speculative curiosity about the world and other people and life. A willingness to ask tough questions and not back down. An abiding wonder about how it all works and what our role is in it. A curiosity like this is seeking to comprehend the wholeness or holiness of life, independent of a consideration of whether or not God exists. Humanism is indeed a holy curiosity about sacred things. And let's unpack these words. Humanism may ultimately prove to be the modern version of maintaining reverence for things which religion has described as divine. Maybe we are all revering the same things, just concluding different sources for them. Some will say God gave us this day. Some will say the rising sun gave us this day. Some will tell you that the sun is God. Who's right? There's nothing wrong with saying they all are. The one thing humanism often lacks is a bit of humility. It's difficult to remain open-minded, but we must be careful how forcefully we assert a position. We must be respectful of other opinions so that all opinions are safe. Be polite with your authority. Humanism holds the potential to remind us of our most important responsibility. Humanism holds the potential to remind us of our most important responsibility, each other. Let's not have our heads so far up our clouds we forget to honor the earth and all that moves about it. Without a healthy, grounded view of the needs of humanity and this planet, of what use are the sacred teachings anyway? It's important to consider. Because what much of religion teaches us is meant to bring us closer together. It's meant to get us collaborating. It's meant to inspire our ultimate goal, world peace. And that is what's really meant by the term hereafter. And that's what's really meant by the term hereafter. Most would conclude that hereafter is a term that's supposed to mean heaven or the afterlife, but it's not. It's a description of this earthly world once we've mended all our bridges and taken down all our walls. The hereafter is not a celestial place. It's here, but it's after we've attained world peace. The hereafter is not some other place at all. It's right here, just after we've recognized our humanity. Be at ease now and breathe. I present to you the word authority. What does it mean to have authority? Take a deep breath. Find the seat beneath you. Close your eyes as you're willing and sink into the cushion as you breathe. Breathe in air. Breathe out light. Breathe in air. breathe out light. This is the function of your authority. You are a manufacturer of light from thin air. You are the creator. You are the one who blesses, who forgives, who serves. You are the maker. You are the scholar. You evaluate information and form opinions. You own them, warts and all. No one can make your opinions. They can only influence them. No one can declare for you what is sacred. For one man's church is another man's forest. For some church is a jail to be escaped. That is theirs to decide for themselves. And breathe. Who are you in the spectrum of your own authority? To whom do you answer in life? Do you answer to your job, your family, your sense of obligation? All that is true and still will be tomorrow. But what can change is your sense of authority relative to it. Decide that you are your own authority. Declare it to yourself. Let the chips fall where they may. Your world will look much the same, but the view will change entirely. Namaste.